never thought about that before. The point of the Bible? The point of the Bible is to tell a story, Christian Bible. The point of the Bible is to tell a story that culminates in God showing up in the most concrete, messy way in the person of Jesus and Jesus' death and resurrection, and how that creates a new community of people, which is not structured around ethnicity or even keeping some key laws of the story of Israel, things like dietary laws or male circumcision. But the community of God is now built, it is grafted together, these two groups. Basically, there are two groups in the world. There is Jew and there is Gentile. Gentile is everybody else. That's the Bible, right? These two groups, them too, but they weren't thinking about that. But these two groups are grafted together into now one people, one community that is not rooted in a geographic location or in ethnicity or even in religious tradition, but is now united in Christ with love for one another. And I think that's where the book is going. See, actually, the culminating point in the Bible, I would say, and others, Richard Hayes at Duke says this, for example, it's not culminating in simply Jesus. It's the effect of Jesus, which is the people of God, is now in sort of a tectonic shift, radically redefined. It's not that Jews and like Israelites hated Gentiles, right? It's not like Jews in Jesus' day hated Gentiles and wanted nothing to do with them. There were God-fearers Gentiles who communed with Jews on some level. But still, this is a shift where we say in God's mind, those things that marked Jewish identity, like circumcision or dietary laws, those things are not what hold you. In other words, what Paul is really saying, Torah is not what binds the people of God together. Torah is not thrown out in the trash or flushed down the toilet, but Torah is decentered. And Jesus is put back and into the center, and Torah is more on the periphery. That's why you have Jews and Christians, because God's solution is seen differently. Judaism, right, for good reason, if you read the Old Testament story for good reason, Jewish identity is very much, of course there are very different kinds of Jews, just like different kinds of Christians, but generally speaking, Jewish identity is Torah-centered. Keeping this is important, or struggling to keep it, or talking about what it means to keep it. It's Torah-centered. Christianity brings in this other element, which is Jesus is Torah. Jesus is wisdom. Jesus is the embodiment of what God is truly like, right? And as for Christian, we have to remember that, and because that results in a way of conceiving of who is a child of Abraham and who isn't differently. The answer to that is both simple and eternal. The simple answer is, for Christians, if you want to know what God is like, look at Jesus. And then you shape the story that we see in the Bible around that center. Jesus is the center of the Christian understanding of what God is like, which is why you have Christian traditions like maybe the Methodist Church or Wesleyan theology, or maybe the Episcopal Church, which understands, or even the Lutheran Church, I shouldn't say even, but Lutherans as well, they understand that it's not just the words in the Bible, it's Jesus' summation of the nature of God, and the rest of the stuff we have to struggle with it in light of this different kind of center. And I think center is a good way of putting Jesus, maybe not just climax, but actually the center of the story of God, which has these ripple effects afterwards.